I don't want to do the deck profile.
Yeah, skip it. I don't pay you to sit around and not do deck profiles.
You don't pay me.
Yeah, what are you sitting around not doing deck profiles?
Dang it.
Threes that I love so dear, bring the power of a new era to me!
What's going on, guys? It's Mack from Team Cardfighters United, coming at you with a deck profile that I just got paid to do because I really didn't want to, because I've recorded this like 8 times now. But yeah, I'm here, and I got paid by a Bailey, so here we go.
You're lucky. That almost buys you a common sometimes.
You're right. Okay, so I'm going to try to do this fast because I've done it like 80 billion times and it's annoying. Starters, Mecha Trainer. I don't have to explain that. It's Mecha Trainer. Grade 3s. For the new Rising, his skill is dumb. That's it. That's all you need to... I'm just kidding. Okay, so he has Charge, and he has a auto skill. Counterblast 1. Choose a card from your hand and put it in the soul. When he's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you search your deck for a grade 2 or less card with Charge, call it to an open Rearguard, and shuffle. Then if he was charging, he gets +3. So this sets up combos. He's really, really good in that way. And then his GB2 makes the whole deck, which is at the end of each turn, so both players' turns, the number of rearguards you have is 2 or less. You can choose one of your rearguards and put it in the soul. And if you do, you draw a card. That's something that Spike's really needed. Something I didn't realize, though, and one of the fights that we actually didn't record revealed to me that if your stuff gets locked, he makes you deck out. So be careful with him. He'll make you deck out because he's a butt.
The actual only fight we didn't record?
Yeah, the only fight we've had all weekend where we didn't record. I got my butt handed to me. Alright. 4 Hive Maker. At some point, I'm going to try to take 2 of these out for Jelly Beans. But for now, I'm just sticking with 4 Hive Maker. He has Charge like pretty much everything else in this deck. And GB1, if he's charging, he gets Counterblast 1. When he's put back into deck from Rearguard, you can choose one card from your hand and call it to an open Rearguard. So he enables plays. He makes things last longer. Puts more pressure on your opponent. And then his other on-place Vanguard skill that I don't care about because if you ride this thing, you lose. Grade 2s. 3 Axe Diver. Axe Diver is really important in here, especially when a certain someone in set 14 comes out that I'm not going to say any names of, but oh, sorry, I got some dust in my throat.
Swiffers in advance, guys.
I got dust in my throat there, sorry. Anyway, Axe Diver's skill is Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. When it's placed on Rearguard, if you have a Vanguard with Rising, you can choose one of your other Rearguards, bind it, and then call it back to an open Rearguard circle. Then if he's charging, both himself and the card that he bound and recalled get +5. This is important for when that certain someone comes out because that first part of the skill doesn't require him to be charging. So he can bind and recall something and get it charging, and Dust doesn't let you... He doesn't get you the actual charge to happen because it's not superior calling anything. I don't really know how to explain that, but that's really the best I've got. So, yeah, 3 Axe Diver. Then 3 Laser Blackguard. I love his name in English. Anyway, he is also Charge. When he's charging, GB1 he gets +5. He has GB1 skill, Counterblast 1, choose a card from your hand and put it into the soul. When he is put back into the deck after he's charging, you can search your deck for a non-grade 2 with the charge ability and call it to an open rear guard that he was not on, and then shuffle your deck. Like 17 restrictions for no reason, but it still extends plays, and it's a good card. So we'll run 3. Next, we run 2 of the Cheatin' Cheetahs. Don't believe me, its flavor text says that he's a cheater. Anyway, charge, GB1, Soul Blast 1, that's the cost. When it's charging unit, when he attacks a Vanguard and it's charging, he gets +5 until end of that battle, unconditionally. You don't have to Soul Blast for that. Then at the end of that battle, you can pay the cost. And if you do, you bind him and then call him back as rest. So he's good for the GB2, and he's also good for the stride we got in set 13, because he makes it so that you can keep a rear guard on the board if you need it, so you can shove it into soul for the GB2 at the end of turn, or you can keep it on the board so you still have 3 rear guards for the new stride. So all around good card. That's really, it's usually I only use it for 1 turn, so 2 is pretty much where I'm comfortable having it. Angry truck outside decided to be angry. Next we have 2 Mayhem Tigers. I know, right? 2? What? This card? Yeah, he's pretty self-explanatory. Soul Blast 1, whenever an opponent puts a Guardian onto the Guardian circle, you can Soul Blast 1, and if it's a grade 2 or less Guardian, you kill it. Keep in mind, I had people think that this worked like this. It does not stop PGs. Good lord, you have no idea how many times people would PG Mayhem Tiger thinking they'd have to overguard when I was at regionals last time. They'd PG and then drop more things before I said anything about killing the PG. And I'd just be like, okay. And then 1 Pockle. You need Pockle. It's not his name. His name is Poker, but call him Pockle. Soul Blast 1 when he's placed on rear guard. If you have face up Cray Elemental in your G zone, you will. You choose a lock card and you unlock it. So he's good in here because Spike Brothers Toolbox. He's really the only unlocker we have, unfortunately, but he's worth running. If I can find a second copy, I'm going to put another copy in. Probably take out a laser blackguard for it. But for now, pretty comfortable with the way this is. Clean this up a little bit so I can get to the grade 1s. There we go. Alright, grade 1s. We've got 4 Stride Fighters. We only run 4 of the grade 3 that you want to ride, so obviously you want to run 4 Stride Fighters so you can find it. 4 Cunning Brain. New PG with a fantastic charge skill. When it goes back to deck from rear guard, you bind as many cards, you bind up to 3 cards from your drop zone. And then for each PG that's in your bind zone after that, you choose a rear guard and it gets +10. So late into the game, when you've used a lot of your perfect guards, you can bind all 3 after you put 1 back and give something 30,000 power. So this PG is really good, and also it's a PG. Can't really go wrong with a PG. Next up, 3 of my favorite grade 1 in the entire deck, Imposter Terrorist, also known as Fake Bomber. He also has charge. Man, it's almost like everything in this deck has charge or something.
I doubt it.
I mean, you're right, because some of them don't, but most of them do. Anyway, if he's charging, he gets +5. That's not GB locked. And then he gets a GB skill if he's charging, which is Soul Blast 2. When he boosts, if you have a Vanguard with Rising, you can choose a card from your hand, call it to an open rearguard circle, and then countercharge 1. All of that is locked in together. You have to do everything or none of the skill works. So I couldn't call a card and then not countercharge, or not call a card and still countercharge. I have to do all of it at once. But this is a beautiful card. it sets up so many combo plays, and he has won me way too many games to count. Then 3 Frog, just because he's Frog. Like, yeah, he's Frog. There you go. That's it for actual units. Now let's go to the triggers. We run 6 crit again, finally. Back to not running insane amounts of draws. Just kidding, run 6 draws. And we run for the new Dudley heal. This is one of the main reasons why I want to put Jelly Beans in here. It's got a really good skill that all of the new heals got, which is when you G-guard with it, you can choose another heal from your drop and bind it along with itself. If you do, you can either countercharge or soul charge. And considering how much this deck counterblasts, that is really, really helpful. And if for some reason I use it while I have no counterblast, or I have full counterblasts, soul charges work too. So, great card. And it's a Dudley heal trigger. So, that is the main deck. Now on to strides. Not really much has changed with my stride zone, but there is enough different here for me to actually need to go over it. So, first things first, for the new guy, Bull Power Agrius. Unbelievable first stride. His skill is Counterblast 1, choose a face down card with the same name as himself and flip it face up. When he attacks, you can pay that cost, and if you do, you choose any number of your rear guards and bind the face up. If you bound 3 or more cards, draw a card, choose up to 2 cards from your bind zone for each face up card in your G zone, and call them to separate open rear guard circles. So, he enables at least 1 extra attack, pretty much guaranteed, and a draw for stride. And he's just overall a good stride to have, something we needed. I wish it freaking bound the circles, but it's a good stride nonetheless. Okay. Next, we run 4 Supernova now. If you wanted to, you could take 2 Supernovas out and put Miracle Ace in, but I didn't see the need for that because I never go into Miracle Ace, and I feel like if I had the opportunity to go into it, I would probably go into Supernova anyway, because usually I go into Supernova when I don't really have any other things I want to go into and I want to try and stall a little bit, because he helps put a little bit of pressure without using any resources. So, 4 Supernova. Then we've got our 1 Picaro, because every Spike Brothers deck needs to run at least 1 Picaro or it is not going to work unless you're playing budget. And even then,
look at me when you say that.
because you play budget all the time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just did a budget deck profile.
I doubt it.
Alright, but yeah, Picaro. If you don't know what he does, he's Counterblast 2. Choose a face down card from your G zone and turn it face up, and then choose a card from your hand and put it in your soul. When it attacks a Vanguard, you can search your deck for up to 1 card for each face up card in your G zone and call one of them to an open rearguard circle for each. 10 out of 10. So, usually I second stride him, if I stride him at all, and he calls either 3 or 4 cards at that point, depending on if I G-guard it or not. So, he's a good card, like I said. Every Spike Brothers deck, if you have Picaro or you can afford to go get him, get him. He is worth every single penny. Next up, 2 Hellheart 8s. Hellheart 8 is dumb. There's no other word to describe this man. He's just dumb. GB8, when he attacks, or when a unit attacks, choose one of your units, gets +10, and then the ability, that it puts itself and a card from your hand into the soul, and at the end of the battle that it attacked or boosted, you can search your deck for a card, call it to an open rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. For as many cards as you have in your hand, that is how many times you can call things back out. It's an infinite loop until you legitimately run out of resources. So 2 of him. Then G-Guards. When we run Rectome. I cannot talk today. We run the 1 Rectome, which is just drop and draw G-Guard, and it's also a Cray Elemental. If you are facing Link Joker, use this. Otherwise, poker will not work. That is very, very important to remember. Then we run 2 plus Ultraman, otherwise known as Hecaton Gyase. Don't know why they didn't just keep his name Hecaton Gus, but whatever. When he's placed on guard, you choose 3 cards from your drop or soul with different grades and put them on the bottom of your deck in any order. If you put 3 cards, then he gets plus 10 shield. So not only is he a 36 guard when you do this, he's also helping you recycle important combo pieces, which is really, really important. And he helps prevent deck out against Link Joker, which is nice. And then 2 Linus, because you can't play this deck without Linus, honestly. Linus gave Spikes the biggest defensive boost they've ever had, and he continues to surprise people when he shows up. So whenever you play him, you can choose a rear guard and put it in the soul if you want. You don't have to. And then it gets 10,000 shield for every 2 of your open rearguard circles. So usually, if you're playing the deck right, he is a 35 shield on his own, which brings you to 46 and stops most attacks pretty easily. So that is it for the deck. I'm out of breath. I don't really want to do anything else. So yeah, that's it for this deck profile. Like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, meta is disgusting. Oh, P.S. Totally forgot to mention. When Dust comes out, 2 of my vanilla draw triggers turn into this guy. His skill is choose a card from your hand, put it in your soul. When he goes back to deck, you bind a rearguard and call it to an open rearguard after. He helps enable plays, and because Dust doesn't let you superior call things, like it doesn't superior call things himself, you need every possible way that you can to get your stuff charging during that turn. So these will be in the deck when Dust comes out. And when he does come out, one of these does too. Alright, yep, I'm done. There's nothing else to say. Bye!
Going on, guys, it's Takeo White Hand. I'm calling my boys like we're using Unite. Cause when we're all here, you can't put up a fight. You'll be at 6 damage, I'm ending your life. You must be hollow, cause that's where you're gonna die soon. Killing quick like Grand Revolver when it's high noon. Enemies gone like a board on a pale moon. Striking so fast, bros bound to lose. Naru, oh, what's that? You gone so soon? Is it cause it's with your team like a witch on a broom? Well, it's your fault for thinking that you wouldn't lose. Got on your swings.